Hello students, so I hope you all are doing well. In the previous class we started with a new chapter, that is friction. We understood the meaning of friction, why the friction takes place, that is the causes of friction, and the factors affecting the friction, means how the friction can increase or decrease with the mass of the object and the roughness of the surface. So I hope you understood this much, and today we are going to take the next topic of this chapter, that is types of friction. So today we will see what are the different types of the friction we have and how are they different from each other. So let's start the class now. So overall we understood in the previous class that if any surface we have and over this surface we place any object, and if we apply the force to the object in one of the direction, so the friction will take place opposite to the applied force. Okay, so if I apply the force in this direction, friction will be in this direction, and if I apply the force in this direction, friction will be in opposite direction all the time. Okay, so that we understood. Now today we are going to continue the topic, that is types of the friction we are going to take today. Okay, so in general we have three different types of the friction. Very first we have static friction, then we have sliding friction, and we have rolling friction. So we are going to discuss all the three one by one, and we will try to take the examples also so that it will help us to understand the concept properly. So very first let's start with the static friction, then we'll go for the next. Okay, and before we get some definition, let's understand a simple activity or simple example. If we imagine this is one of the surface that we have, and over this surface we have an object. So the time I apply the force in one of the direction, the friction will start acting in the opposite direction. So when you start applying the force, it may take some time because the less force may not move it. So if I just touch and give very less amount of force, the object is not moving. But that time also there is a friction between the object and the surface. So the time you start applying the force but the object is not moving, that time there is a friction between the surface and the object, and that friction is given the name static friction. So static means stationary, means it is not in motion. So the object remain at rest, but there is a friction between the object and the surface, and that is called static friction. So from this we can get a simple example or definition. We can say if an object is at rest but there is applied force on it, then the friction between the object and surface is static friction. So with this read out once again, if an object is at rest but there is an applied force on it, then the friction between the object and surface is static friction. So for this we can have a simple diagram. There is one surface, and on this surface we have one object, and this is at rest, means it's not moving, but the force is applied. So force is applied, this is at rest, and this time it has some friction. So this friction is basically static. Okay, so I hope you understood the very simple definition and very simple example that we have. So the concept is, we understood if the mass is heavy enough, then we need to apply more and more force to overcome that friction. So basically when you try to overcome that friction to move the object, that friction is basically your static friction. So if any heavy object we have, if you try to move or this object, then the friction that we have is basically static. But after certain applied force, the object will start moving. So the object starts moving when you are able to overcome the static friction. Okay, and once the object will start moving, then two different conditions we have. The object can sliding, I hope you know it is sliding, or the object can roll also. So depending upon the shape of the object can slide like this, can slide this way, or the object can roll also. So when the object is rolling, this time also we have some friction between the object and the surface. When the object is sliding, this time also there is a friction between the object and the surface. And when the object is there at rest, we are applying the force but it's not moving, that is having another friction. And based on these three different types of the friction we have. Okay, so I hope the static friction is clear. So you must write down this. So one more thing can be written here, that is to move any object which is at rest, we have to overcome the static friction. Okay, so it is understood if we have two objects, one is of 2 kg, another of 50 kg on the same surface, and you have to move both objects one by one. You are applying the force F2, you are applying the force F1. In both the case, the applied force, it will not be same. So it is understood the F2 will be greater than F1, because if the mass is less, friction will be less. So we can say static friction will be less in this case because the mass is less, and that we understood in the previous class. Less is the mass, less will be the friction. So if the mass will increase, then more will be the static friction. So what is to be done? More applied force should be there. So if I say the friction for this one is small f1 and friction for this is small f2, this is also understood that friction f2 is less than f1. So heavier is the object, more will be the static friction, and hence more should be the applied force. That is how to move the heavy object, more force is to be given. So I hope this is understood. One more thing you should know is that if we have the object and you start applying the force, the friction will start acting. So at beginning, basically when you increase the force, that is applied force will increase, the friction will also increase in backward direction. So if you try to plot the graph between the applied force and friction, so this is the force which I am applying, and this is the F is the friction. So what happens generally, when you start increasing the force, the friction also increases. So more is the applied force, we can say more is the friction. Further increase the force, more friction, and after some time what will happen, we are able to overcome the force of friction, and then the object can start moving. So when the object will start moving, it will start sliding, and once the object will start sliding, then the friction will somehow reduce. That is what we are going to discuss today. So in general, we can have a graph between the applied force and the static friction, and that I will repeat once we will do the sliding friction. Okay, so how the static is clear. Okay, so next we have sliding friction. So we understood if we have the surface and object is at rest, we start applying the force, after some force it will start moving and then it will slide. So when the object is sliding on the surface, then also there is a friction between the two, that is the object and the surface, and that is why the object will come to rest after some time because of the sliding friction. So the object is moving, once you apply the force it starts moving, and after some time it comes to rest. Why it comes to rest? Because there is a friction. So when the object is sliding and the friction acting between the object and the surface, the name is given sliding friction. Okay, so we can say if an object is sliding on a surface, then also there is a friction between the sliding object and the surface, and this friction is called sliding friction. So it is understood, any object now it is in motion and is sliding, so it is moving in forward direction maybe, so motion in this direction forward, and the friction is acting in the backward direction during the motion, and this friction is basically called sliding friction. So that is how the static and sliding, they are different. Okay, so I hope you understood the difference, basically the difference between the static and the sliding friction. And one more thing you should know, that if the object starts sliding or moving, then what will happen? Let's understand the concept. So if we have a surface and the object over it is sliding or in motion, so it is in motion. So once it is moving in one of the direction, it is understood between the object and the surface the interlocking will take place, that we understood. All the time when the object is in contact with the surface, the interlocking will take place because of irregularities, and hence the friction will be there. Okay, but one thing is clear, if the object is in motion, what will happen? This object will not get sufficient time to get interlocked properly. So if the object is in motion, the time for interlocking with the surface will be quite less, because every time the object will change the position. So the object will keep changing the position. So at the beginning it may be at point A, then after some time the object will go to B, then objects will go at C. So since there is a change in position, because the object is in motion, so the object will not get sufficient time or proper time, or we can say it will get less time to have interlocking between the object and the surface. So it is understood, in this case the friction will be quite less. I am repeating again, once the object will come into motion or come in motion, object will get less time to get interlocked with the surface, because for interlocking between the object and the surface some time is required. So more is the time given, more will be the interlocking, less is the time given, less will be the interlocking. More interlocking, more friction, less interlocking, less friction. So once the object will start moving in forward direction, the object will have less time to get interlocked with the surface, and hence friction will be less. So one thing is clear, that if the object is at rest and then object is in motion, here it is at rest, so it will get more time for interlocking because the object is at rest, and here less time for interlocking. Yes or no? So it will get more time to get interlocked, it will get less time to interlock. So it is understood it will have more friction, it will have less friction. Understood? So it is clear if you compare the static friction and the sliding friction, let it be F1 and F2. So let the static friction is F1, sliding friction is F2. It is understood that the static friction will be greater than the sliding friction. So that is another concept that we should know. The static friction is always greater than the sliding friction. Why? Because when the object is at rest, it gets more time to get interlocked, and when the object is sliding, it is in motion, it gets less time to get interlocked. Okay. So finally we can write down, that is in the note that we have understood. What we have understood? Sliding friction is less than static friction. And reason we understood, for stationary object more time is given for interlocking. Okay, and for moving object less time is given for interlocking. So that is the note you can write down. That is very important, and why we understood also. Okay. So I hope till now we understood the meaning of static friction, sliding friction, and the static friction is quite greater than the sliding friction also, and why we understood the concept. So we are moving to the next type of the friction that we have, that is rolling friction. Okay, so the third we have rolling friction. So we understood that the object, if it is having a circular shape, something like you can see a bottle, then if you don't apply the force, it may not move. But once you start applying the force, even if you if I make it inclined, means if I make it downward, then also the gravity will start acting and it can start moving. So when I am making it inclined plane, then also the object will start moving, and when the object is moving in this condition, it is basically rolling. So when the object is rolling on the surface, then also there is a friction between the rolling object and the surface, and this friction will be given the name rolling friction. So the only thing is, once the object comes in motion, the object can slide, the object can roll. So if the object is sliding, the friction will be given name sliding friction. If the object starts rolling, then it is given the name rolling friction. So we can say, if an object is rolling on a surface, then the friction between the object and surface is rolling friction. So if you try to draw the diagram, there is a surface, and any object which is having a circular shape, spherical shape, can roll over it. So Once it will start rolling on the surface, it will move forward. So between this rolling object and the surface there is a friction. So this friction is called rolling friction. So that is how we have three different types of the friction: static, sliding and rolling. And now let's compare the rolling friction with the static and the sliding also. So we understood the sliding is less than the static, but if you compare the rolling friction with the sliding and the static, so let's see which force will be more, the rolling or the sliding or the static. So I hope this much you have done and written also. We are going to the next concept related with the rolling friction. So we know if any object will roll on the surface, so this object is going to move, and to roll over the surface. Okay, so this is rolling object. So you know, when the object is rolling, every time when it will move forward, for example this is in contact with point A, when it will move forward, point B will come in contact, then further point C of the object will come in contact, then point D, point E. So there are infinite number of points which we can imagine on the rolling surface. So if I say this object will roll on the surface, so like this is the first point which will be in contact, then once it will move forward, the next point will come in contact, then third, then fourth, and there are infinite points. So what is happening here, when the object is rolling, each time there is a change in the surface of the object. So at the beginning point A, that is surface A, is in contact, then just in less than second another point B or surface B will come in contact, then C will come, D will come, E will come. So the surface will keep changing of the object, and since the object will keep changing its surface with the surface on which it is moving, what will happen? This object will get very less time to get interlocked, because the time A will try to get interlocked with the surface, B will come. Now B will try to get interlocked, then suddenly C will come. When C will try to get interlocked with the surface, D will come. So every time, since the surface of the object, the lower surface of the object keep changing, the object will not get sufficient time to get interlocked. So we can say in this case, the time given for interlocking between the object and the surface is minimum. And since the time for interlocking is minimum, what will happen? The friction is minimum. So we can say every time there is new surface of object to interlock. Okay, so very less time is given for interlocking, and hence the friction is minimum. And that is from where we started the concept of wheel. So you know, if any object is quite heavy and it's difficult to move this object on a surface, what we can do to move this object? We can attach the wheels. So once you attach the wheels with the heavy object, you know, it's difficult, it's not so difficult to move it now. That is how the heavy vehicles can move easily. So what we have done, we converted the sliding friction into rolling friction. And once we come to the rolling friction, the friction is minimum, and then it's very easy to move any object even if it is heavy enough. And you know, lots of heavy vehicles we have which are moving without any difficulty just because of this concept. So Overall, what we understood, if the object starts rolling on a surface, there is a friction between the rolling object and the surface. That is given the name rolling friction. And in this case, since all the time there is a change in surface of the object which is in contact with the lower surface, so the time given for interlocking is very less, and hence the friction becomes very less. So we can say the rolling friction is minimum if you compare all the three forces of friction. So we can say rolling friction, that you can write in the note also, is minimum as compared to the static and sliding. So if I give the name rolling friction as R, so this is the minimum, sliding friction is S, okay, let it be SL, and static friction is the maximum. So that is how the sequence we have. So if you move from rolling to static, the friction will increase. The static friction is the maximum and the rolling friction is minimum. So one thing is clear, that if we have to move any heavy vehicle, heavy object, we must convert this sliding into rolling friction, and we can do it easily. So that is how we have different suitcase also. Now the suitcase we have available in the market, the trolley system we have, the wheels are attached, and with the help of the wheels you can carry the heavy bag. So heavy bag, heavy suitcase can be easily moved on the surface once we attach with the wheels. Okay, so that is how the science is applicable in the real life. And the best example I have already given, that is the discovery of the wheel, is totally based on this concept. So when the wheel was discovered, they may not be knowing the concept behind it, that is the friction is having the role, but now we can relate it with the real life situations. So I hope you are able to understand all the concepts, and you can differentiate the static, rolling and sliding friction, and you can also find out the examples from the real life situations where these frictions are there, and sometimes the frictions are helping us, sometimes they may not be helping us. All things are possible that we need to find out. So at the end, I just want to show you one of the graph between the static and the applied force. So this is the graph where one side I am going to draw the friction. So I am talking about friction one side, and another side I am talking about applied force. So this be capital F, this let be small f. So you should know, if you first increase the applied force, so we are talking about the object at rest. So object at rest, very first we are applying the force F, friction will start acting in the opposite direction. So when you start applying the force, with the increase in force, the static friction also increases. So more is the applied force, more is the static. More you force applied, more will be the backward force. But after a certain time it will become maximum, and then the object will start moving, and once it will start moving, what will happen? The friction will certainly drop. So till here we can say what we have: static friction till this point. So we can say at point A. So we can say at point A, the static friction becomes maximum, after which the object starts moving, and we know once the object will start moving, the friction will decrease. Why? Because now it will be having sliding friction. So this is showing you sliding friction. This is static friction. So that is how the graphs look like. So we can say at this point A, we have maximum value of static friction. So we can write down F maximum, and this F maximum is also given a name called limiting friction. So limiting friction is nothing but the maximum value of the static friction. So one thing is understood, the static friction is not so constant, it increases and finally it becomes maximum, which is also called limiting. And after limiting friction, the object starts moving, then it can have sliding, it can have rolling, that will be quite less than the static friction. So that is how the graph looks like, and I hope you understood. So for today, I think these topics are more than enough, and you can relate all the three. So one homework is given to you. Before the homework, let's have the summary of the entire class. We understood the object can have three different types of the friction with the surface when the object is at rest, and if you are applying the force, that is having static friction, the object starts moving, then it can slide or it can roll. If it is sliding, the friction is called sliding friction. If it is rolling, the friction between the two will be rolling friction. Rolling friction is minimum and static friction is maximum, and based on these concepts we can apply any of the friction force in the real life situation that we'll see in the next class. So I hope you understood. So homework is, you just find out any three applications of sliding friction. So just find out if that is possible for you. And second question is, sliding friction is more than or greater than, we can say, is greater than rolling friction. Justify. This statement. So I have already explained the answer, but still you need to think how to answer the question. Sliding friction is greater than rolling friction. How will you explain it properly? So for today, the class is done. You just take care, be at home, and I'm repeating again. Any doubt you have, you can ask me in the live session.